We're taking a break from the starters in Generation 3 and beginning our celebrations of all things Ice type. And what a way to begin, because it's time for Lapras. The starter mini-series will be coming back at the end of this month, but for today, it is Lapras. Lapras is one of my all-time favourite Pokémon, so it's going to be an absolute pleasure to run it in this game. And if you cast your minds back to the Generation 2 challenge we did with it, it finished in 3rd place. So the bar is set incredibly high for this line. We'll have to see how we get on throughout the course of this challenge, but for now, let's take a look at our stats. We're level 5 with 29 HP. Our ability is Water Absorb, and we've got 15 in attack, 14 in defense, 15 in special attack, 16 in special defense, 12 in speed, and we are running with a neutral nature. Now the rival for this challenge is going to have the Squirtle line. We'd be super effective against Charmander, we'd be super effective against Bulbasaur, so let's go for the one that poses the most challenge. We're going to send this Squirtle to sleep and then we're going to start water gunning. Unfortunately for us, we don't have anything great for the Squirtle, but it doesn't have anything good for us either. We are going to more than comfortably win this battle, we'll get some experience points, and we can make our way out of the laboratory. As always, I'll show you the very first encounter with a wild Pokemon as well, and in this instance it's a wild level 2 Rattata. It's one shot to knock it out, and we're going to keep the one-shot theme going. Our first gym leader is Brock. He is of course a rock-type specialist who leads with Geodude. Both of his Pokemon are going to be 4 times weak to the water type, so that means we are off to a very, very, very strong start. Our first gym badge, the Boulder badge, is acquired in just 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Let's take on Misty. She is a water type specialist just like us, and she leads with Staryu. We're going to body slam the Staryu, and we're going to do exactly the same against the Starmie as well. Paralysis comes into play, that's great for us, it means we're going to outspeed, and Starmie gets caught in a little bit of a healing loop. It's going to spam recover, we're just going to get one more body slam off, we grow to level 19 and we get the option to learn Confuse Ray. We say yes in place of Sing, and that's our second badge in 12 minutes and 15 seconds. We also acquire the Water Pulse TM from Misty, so we'll upgrade our Water Gun into a Water Pulse instead, and we're going to try it out against the second rival battle. This time he's going to lead with Pidgeotto. Water Pulse is a 2-shot on the Pidgeotto and our accuracy is not lowered, and that makes this battle incredibly easy. We'll use Water Pulse on turn 1 against the Squirtle and swap to Body Slam on turns 2 and 3. Our defense is lowered, but Abra can do absolutely nothing at all. We knock it out in one shot, we defeat the rival for the second time, and I tell you what, while we're at it, let's do it again. Let's get onto the boat and take the rival on for a third time. He's leading with Pidgeotto yet again, and this time our accuracy is lowered. We have bags upon bags of health though, so even though we've had our defense lowered by the Raticate, I still think there's next to nothing that he can do. Our accuracy is lowered even further courtesy of Kinesis, but we just need a couple of body slams to connect. That is exactly what happens against the Wartortle. We get through on our first attempt in a time of 21 minutes and 11 seconds. Let's take on Lieutenant Surge. He's an electric type specialist, so he does have the type advantage, but we have phenomenal special attack, and we also have a lot of health behind us. It's 2 one-shots to get us started. We body slam the Raichu, we paralyze it, he gets caught in a healing loop, a shockwave hits us, but it's nowhere near enough to finish us off, and we defeat Lieutenant Surge in 23 minutes and 7 seconds. We've got Ice Beam on the learn set now because we leveled up to 31. Let's take on Erica. This will be a sweep. We're going to outspeed everything, and we are going to one-shot everything as well. Erica is a very easy battle when you've got an Ice type move. Time of 32.29 for the Rainbow Badge. Let's now head into the game corner where we have our first encounter with the big boss of Team Rocket. It's Giovanni himself. He's going to lead with Onix, and we're not going to complain. We've already knocked out one of those in one shot. Another Pokemon 4 times weak to water. Thank you very much, Mr. Giovanni. Let's swap to Ice Beam for the Kangaskhan. It's 2 shots to finish it off, and we are through Giovanni in a time of 36 minutes and 28 seconds. We obtain the Silph Scope, and that lets us climb the Pokemon Tower, but of course the pesky rival is in the way. We'll start off with a pair of Ice Beams, one for Pidgeotto and one for Execute. That brings us on to his third Pokemon, Kadabra. We'll take advantage of Kadabra's low defenses by using Body Slam, and the next Pokemon is Growlithe. We've got Water Pulse for the Growlithe, it goes down in 1, and the final Pokemon is Wartortle. Our attack was lowered by Intimidate, so we're going to use a combination of Water Pulse, Body Slam and Ice Beam to finish it off. And that means we've defeated the rival for a 4th time in 37-24. Let's now move on to Fuchsia City, where Koga is waiting for us. He's the poison type leader who leads with coughing. We've got Psychic via TM, courtesy of Mr. Psychic in Saffron City, and that makes this a very, very, very clean sweep. The only Pokemon that stands any chance is this Muck, but we have already got it caught in a healing loop. We critical hit it to knock it out, and then we've just got a coughing and a wheezing to contend with. Coughing comes out and goes away straight away, and then we're going to two-shot the wheezing. Even a smoke screen couldn't save Koga, we're through him, and now we'll move on to Blaine. We've done the Safari Zone at this point, so that means we have the Surf HM, and that means we have a very, very strong, super effective move against Blaine's Pokemon. It's a one-shot against the Ponyta and the Growlithe, but then Rapidash's Fire Blast ends up burning us. That means we're going to take some damage against the Arcanine. We'll take it deep into the red. He will get caught in a healing loop, but the burn knocks us out. That was just an awful bit of luck. Fire Blast is incredibly inaccurate, and it has a very low chance of burning. As long as we don't get burned, we're absolutely fine in this battle. We're on 136 HP as the Arcanine comes out once more. This time we'll use Psychic on turn number 1, and we'll try and avoid the healing loop. That's exactly what happens, we get through it, and that's the Volcano Badge in 52 minutes and 13 seconds. After earning the Volcano Badge, we have our 5th rival battle. This time he's going to lead with Pidgeot. We'll use Ice Beam, it's a nice and easy one-shot, and we'll use Ice Beam against Execute as well. It's the same opening as last time, we'll swap to Body Slam against the Alakazam, we take it deep into the red and we knock it out on turn 2. Growlithe comes out to play and we will use Surf. Kadabra got a Future Sight off and we will take that damage now, but it is only 24 HP. We'll start Body Slamming the Blastoise, we'll use Psychic as well to try and drop its special defense, but he is stalling by using Protect. But he really is just prolonging the inevitable. We knock out the Blastoise, we get through him on our first try, and our reward is a 2nd Lapras. This Lapras is the HM friend Lapras. It will be using Surf and Strength, and that will be very handy for Victory Road. In the meantime, we're going to meet up with Giovanni for the 2nd time, and this time he's leading with Nidorino. We'll use Psychic against the Nidorino, we'll swap to Surf for the Rhyhorn, and we'll keep on surfing against the Nidoqueen. It's going to be a 2-shot on the Nidoqueen, it's the most bulky Pokemon he has, and that brings us back onto Kangaskhan. It's going to be a 2-shot with Ice Beam on the Kangaskhan. We get through him on our first attempt, and we will move on to Sabrina. Sabrina is, of course, the Psychic type specialist who leads with Kadabra. We're going to use Return against the Kadabra, take it down in one shot. She brings out a Mr. Mime, we'll swap to Surf. It's going to be a 2-shot on the Mr. Mime, and she's already in a healing loop. She's wasting her Hyper Potions here on the Mime. We knock it out in a couple further hits, and we'll swap to Psychic for the Venomoth. That's a nice and easy one-shot. We'll use Return against the Alakazam. That's going to be a 2-shot. We finish it off, and that's Sabrina done in 57 minutes and 30 seconds. Our final gym leader is Giovanni. He's a ground-type specialist who leads with Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn goes down in one shot, and the second one goes in exactly the same way. He's going to bring out Nidoqueen next, we'll use Surf, and this time it is a one-shot. Nidoking comes out to play and goes away quickly as it came out. And then the final Pokemon is Dugtrio. We'll use Surf, we knock it out in one, and that's our last badge acquired in 1 hour, 1 minute and 13 seconds. We cannot celebrate for too long though, the dreaded last rival battle is just around the corner. Let's see how we get on. He leads with Pidgeot, we will use Ice Beam on the Pidgeot and we knock it out in one. We grow to level 48, he sends out Rhyhorn, we'll use Surf against the Rhyhorn and it's another one shot. We'll swap to Ice Beam for the Execute, it's still not evolved and that's great for us, we knock it out in one. Growlithe comes out to play, we'll get rid of that with a single Surf, and he is on to Alakazam. We get disabled by the Alakazam, which is incredibly pesky, and then he sets up Calm Mind. We get the double whammy of a boosted Psychic and a Spadef drop. We are down to 19 HP, Blastoise nibbles at us, and we take a reset. We have been incredibly unlucky with the secondary effects in this challenge. Not only was Blaine very lucky against us, so was the rival here. We could have survived, I think, if we didn't have the Spadef drop. We've just got to make our way back to the Alakazam and hope it doesn't happen for a second time. We're back onto it now, we're going to use Ice Beam this time, and he goes for Calm Mind straight away. Disable misses and we freeze it. That was the luck we needed, and now the tables have turned. He uses Rain Dance on Blastoise, which is incredibly weird. We'll swap to Thunderbolt, we'll knock it out in 3 shots, and I don't even need to heal from the bag because Water Gun did that for us. We get through the rival in 1 hour and 7 minutes, and with that, we're in the Pokemon League. The first thing we'll do is heal up whether we need to or not. We shall buy our 4 full restores, 1 for each league member, and then we'll head over to the PC to say thank you to the HM friends. So this is a very, very big thank you to the HM friends. It's thank you to Kenya, Abra, Meowth, Lapras number 2, and Paris. And now let's take a look at our stats before we go into the league. We are level 49 with 206 HP. We're holding the Mystic Water with Surf, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Psychic. We've got 110 in attack, 108 in defense, 107 in special attack, 106 in special defense, and 93 in speed. Those, of course, the outer battle stats will get a big buff in battle as we've seen out against Lorelei. She's an Ice-type specialist who leads with Dugong. We are Water Ice versus Water Ice. And if I have learnt one thing about Lorelei, it is she loves to stall. We are going to have to see how we get on. We really should prepare for a very long battle against Lorelei. We are going to try and keep our health as high as possible. We get through the Dugong, but then Cloyster is going to spam Protect. We get 1 Thunderbolt off and we take it deep into the red. She uses Protect twice more in a row and we finish it off with Psychic. Here comes Slowbro. It's big, it's bulky, it's got Amnesia, and this is gonna be a problem. She makes us drowsy with Yawn and then we get sent to sleep. We wake up the next turn, we finish it off with another Thunderbolt, and up next is Jinx. We'll swap to Surf for the Jinx and it's going to be a 3-shot, but then she sends out Lapras. Lapras has Water Absorb just like us, but that Lapras kept hold of Body Slam. Was it a mistake for us to lose Body Slam? I don't know. I personally like the coverage, but it's definitely not up for debate that this Body Slamming Lapras is doing a lot of damage to us. We end up taking a reset against Lorelei. Let's try again. We're back onto the Dugong. We know we can get rid of this in just a few shots. We use Psychic and Thunderbolt, and that brings us nicely back to Cloyster. We're going to use Psychic turn 1 this time and finish it off with a Thunderbolt eventually, but of course she is spamming Protect yet again. I was convinced she was going to go for Protect the next turn, so I went for Psychic. If I'd have gone for Thunderbolt, it would have been a KO. She goes back to Protect now, though. When I'm spamming Psychic, we eventually knock it out, and here comes Slowbro once more. We're going to use Thunderbolts, we critical hit it. Amnesia's going to be meaningless now. We knock it out on turn number 2. It's back to the Jinx. She uses Lovely Kiss, but it misses. We're going to spam Surf for all it is worth. We get sent to sleep, but Ice Punch is going to do next to nothing at all. We wake up, we finish it off on turn number 3. We grow to level 50, and we are against the Lapras. We're going to fish for Spadef drops. We don't care if we're paralysed. We are just going to spam Psychic for all it's worth. Then we'll swap to Thunderbolt, we knock it out in 1, and we are through Lorelei on our second attempt in 1:13:51. Second up is Bruno. He is a fighting type specialist, and that proves to be a problem. Onyx will be fine, it's his fighting types that I am very worried about. Hitmonchan has Sky Uppercut in this generation. It takes off over half our health, and then Hitmonlee could use a Brick Break to finish us off. I'm going to give it one more go before we relent and use some rare candies. We'll surf the Onyx, we'll see how we get on against the Hitmonchan. We're going to use Psychic, we take it deep into the yellow, Rock Tomb hits us this time, our speed drops, and then Sky Uppercut takes us deep into the red. We're not going to outspeed the Hitmonlee now, and Brick Break finishes us off. Let's use some rare candies. Up to level 54 we go. We'll see how we get on this time. We know Onyx is irrelevant, we're only fighting 3 Pokemon. It is the 3 fighting types. And the exact same scenario plays out at level 54. We get hit by Rock Tomb, we get hit by Sky Uppercut, and then we get finished off by Brick Break. Up we go again. We're going to use even more rare candies. We're going all the way up to level 58. We got a couple of extra rare candies courtesy of Meowth, and they are what's helping us get even higher than we normally would be. We're back onto the Hitmonchan now, and once again Sky Uppercut hits. We 2-shot it with Psychic, but we are in a much better position for the Hitmonlee. We survive a Brick Break, we use our Citrus Berry, and we are in the yellow for the Machamp. We use Psychic, it's a 2-shot, but cross-chop hits. Let's use even more rare candies. We're going up to 62. Let's see if this makes the difference. I think the big difference is going to be Sky Uppercut missing. And it's at level 62 we finally get that luck. Sky Uppercut misses, we knock out the Hitmonchan, and we are on full health for the Hitmonlee. It's going to be a 2-shot against the Hitmonlee. Break takes a little bit of health off us, but we are in the green for the Machamp. Scary Face misses, Machamp's Citrus Berry comes into play, we knock it out in 2, and there is just Onix left to go. We finish it off with a Surf, and we are through Bruno in 1:17:52. Our third league member is Lance's Auntie Agatha. She is the pathological pretender with the poisonous Pokémon, and she's going to lead with Gengar. We'll start off with a Psychic against the Gengar. We take it deep into the red, but she ends up poisoning us, and I take a reset. In Generation 3, if you knock out, you still take poison damage, so if it happens at the start of the battle, we stand no hope. We get through the Gengar much easier this time, and we're going to use Ice Beam against the Golbat. That's a nice and simple 1-shot, and we are on to Arbok. We're going to use Psychic against the Arbok, and it's going to be a 2-shot, but once again we get poisoned. The PlayStation Network Cure Berry kicks in, but we get sent to sleep by the second Gengar. She really does love her status conditions. We get Nightmared, but we wake up on turn 1. She sends us straight back to sleep, but we end up getting Sludge Bombed, and we have to take another reset. We get poisoned very early in this attempt, but we do 2-shot the Gengar. Golbat comes out to play. We know that's going to be a 1-shot with Ice Beam, and we are back onto Arbok. We're going to continue using Surf against the Arbok. Sludge Bomb does not poison us this time, and here comes Gengar once more. Hypnosis hits us on turn number 1, but we have a very short sleep. She is getting very unlucky with her Nightmares. Hypnosis misses, we finish it off on turn number 2, and that just leaves one Haunter left to go. We 1-shot that with Psychic, and we defeat Agatha in a time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 42 seconds. And that just leaves Lance, the liar with some flyers, left to go. He's going to lead, of course, with Gyarados. That's fine by us, we've got Thunderbolt on the learn set, and that will be a very simple 1-shot. Up next is Aerodactyl. We'll swap to Surf for the Aerodactyl. It doesn't get the Omni Boost, so that means it's another 1-hit knockout. It's Ice Beam time for the Dragonair. That's a nice 1-shot. We'll use Ice Beam on the second Dragonair, and his final Pokemon is Dragonite. That's another 1-shot. We are through Lance on our first try in 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 27 seconds. Let's now take on the final trainer of the challenge. It is, of course, Mr. Punctuation himself, and he leads with Pidgeot. We'll use Ice Beam against Pidgeot, we knock it out in 1, we grow to 64, and out comes Rhydon. We'll 1-shot that away, and the third Pokemon is Exeggutor. Ice Beam is just the job for the Exeggutor, and that means we are on to Alakazam. We're going to use Ice Beam against the Alakazam and fish for a freeze. We take 2 turns of psychic damage, and once again the Spadef drop. Alakazam goes down, Arcanine comes out, and we take a lot of damage from Flamethrower. We 1-shot it though, and we just have Blastoise left to go. Hydro Pump misses. It would be great if it hit. We get healed by the Hydro Pump, and it is all over from here. Blastoise has nothing that it can do. We finish it off, and that means we are the champions in 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 36 seconds. Once again, the Water-Ice type has done very, very well in Kanto. We saw it a couple of years ago with the original Walrein challenge, and we're seeing it again with Lapras. It is a very, very comfortable first spot for Lapras, around about 5.5 minutes ahead of second place Swampert. We'll have to see in 4 weeks whether we can get a new champion and Lapras's reign will be short, but for this one, we are done. So I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to leave it a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to see more just like this, click the subscribe button. And until next time when it's Articuno in Pokemon Crystal, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.